Guys, 3 points in the bag, baby.
Ole, is that the wheel? Tell me how good.
Wasim, why are you looking so sad? Wasim, what's happening?
Yeah, it was a shocking display. I don't even know where to begin, but that was just shocking. Bruce out, man. Get the hell out.
The funny thing is, if we didn't get a favorable result and if we lost tonight, then I'm pretty sure most of the Manchester United fan base globally would have been shouting the same thing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, whenever Solskjaer's head is on the block, a
Yes,
performance gets pulled out of that. So,
I'm telling you.
you said when you left for Wasim it was 1-1. When you got home, you were shocked to see it's 4-1.
I was shocked. I think, I don't think our performance even in the first half was that bad.
Yeah, it was.
Although Newcastle weren't, really that great either. But damn, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seems to pull out the result when he really needs one, eh? And I think he's gonna probably keep his job now for the next few months. It's safe. It's safe again for the next few months. Yeah, but it feels good. I mean, if you're a United fan, like bar everything you may have against the board, against Ed Woodward and the Glazers, a result is a result, and you have to celebrate it.
You see, the frustrating thing for me is that I think in our preview we all predicted that Man United would win the game. So that is like fine. I accept that you guys deserve the win and you are the better team based on your performance. But the frustrating thing for me is that we sat back and we just allowed you so much respect and allowed you to play the game the way you wanted to, dictate the game, the tempo, and create chances. You had 14 shots on target. So the chances are when you have 14 shots on target, you are bound to score at least 3 or 4 because the players of Premier League quality are going to put some away. So really, it's frustrating that we just gave you that respect and gave you the win you needed when you guys were struggling, and we had the early lead in 2 minutes, and we still just sat back and said, "This is Man United. They're a champion side. We need to sit back." And they used to be a champion side. They're not anymore. But we still treated you like you were. So that's the frustrating thing.
It's Bruce's team.
Bruce
like you said,
he doesn't have a clue. Tactically, he doesn't have a clue.
I think we called it before, didn't we, Riaz? Like we all gave our predictions and we said it's going to be a scrappy game. And after the first half, Riaz, I don't know what your thoughts are, but after the first half, I thought, this is going to be again one of those scrappy games where we might or might not pull out the result. What do you think?
Yeah, it was scrappy. I couldn't believe the bad luck we had with the own goal. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Luke. Sure, you guys know that. But that was just terrible luck for him to score that own goal. And in the lead up to the goal, I was watching Victor Lindelof, and I thought he was on the halfway line, but it turns out he was deep in Newcastle's half. And centre back was supposed to be a pairing where they play together. He's deep in Newcastle's half, trying to win a ball from an impossible position against Callum Wilson. Harry Maguire sitting very deep. He gets overzealous. He tries to pick the ball from Wilson. Wilson turns him easily. Lindelof doesn't have the pace and he's gone. And that's where the goal comes from. So, I had...
I thought, here we go again.
Yeah, me also, I had this lump in my throat. I'm like, again, we're starting another situation like we had against Spurs. And for a team like us, where we came off a terrible defeat against Spurs, the last thing you want to do is start the game the way we did and concede the way we did. But Alhamdulillah, as the game went on, we just kept on. We kept on playing and we got stronger and we got better. I think it was the best performance of the season. But Newcastle had a hand in it like that.
Yes, no, we made it easy for you guys. So don't read too much in the actual performance.
No, I agree.
As a team, we were poor and we gave it to our tactics played into your hands. So although it was a good performance, bear in mind that the opposition made it easier for you.
Yeah, you guys sat back, and I think Solskjaer also kudos to him. Like, I think the whole, let's say 90% of the United fan base were really upset at that starting 11. That starting 11 I don't think anyone would have predicted that starting 11. It was like really. I mean, if you guys caught the video of myself and Wasim, before the game started, yeah, we were like, I was upset at that starting 11. But I'll put my hand up, and so should the rest of the United fan base that were lambasting Ole. We should say, I mean, we got it wrong, and Ole, he took the gamble, and it seemed to have paid off.
Wasim, I have a question for you. And this for me, like, really epitomized Bruce and, his tactics and so on. Like when Isaac Hayden went off, and he's such an important player for you guys in midfield, and you got injured, and you decided to bring on Fabian Shaw. I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw him on the pitch? Because
Yeah,
I was like dumbfounded.
I was shocked as well. I was shocked as well because the thing with Shaw is he's a defender. He's a good ball playing centre back, but he's not a midfielder. He's played a few times in midfield for Switzerland, but I wouldn't say it's been a success. So I think the fact that Bruce went to him ahead of other options, and I give you the other options, Almiron could have then played on the wide right, and he could have shifted Hendrik into centre midfield alongside Shalvi, and that could have been probably what most fans would have gone with. He chose not to do that, and then he could have brought on Fraser. Again, similar thing, wide player who would then be able to take the place of Hendrik and attack down the right-hand side and move Hendrik again inside for Shalvi. And he failed to go to that. It was so defensive. The fact that you're bringing on a defensive-minded player in central midfield, it's so defensive, so negative, and it played again into the hands of Man United. So Bruce, he really just doesn't have a clue. I don't know why he went that way, and I think fans and the media need to call him out on that, because it was again a shocking decision leading to shocking results, and he needs to own up and say, I got it wrong, and he needs to be held accountable for that, because he can't keep doing these things and getting these decisions wrong and then still be the head coach of Newcastle, because it's just not on.
Wasim is sounding like how he sounded a week ago, Riaz. 2 weeks ago.
He's tired. He had enough.
You see, the problem comes in, this is built up over a period of time. The problem comes in, we had a good performance against West Ham where we won the opening game. Very good away performance. Then we followed that up with a shocking home defeat, 3-0 to Brighton. So we had a good result, followed by a bad result. Then we beat Burnley 3-1 in our last home game, and that was a good performance, fairly well-deserved win. And we followed that up with a shocking performance against Man United. So we can't even put away two good performances after each other. There's just no consistency, and that comes down to the manager.
But Wasim, think about it. What club in the Premier League has put in, a string of good performances? I don't think any team besides maybe Everton have had, a string of good results. Liverpool, City.
Spurs have done well. I mean, they did well.
Yeah, Spurs have done okay.
Yeah.
But the
thing is, I understand that you can't win, go on a big run because the league is so competitive. But the problem is the actual performance and the tactics and the whole formation, the whole approach to the game. Like, we were bad against Brighton and Man United, and it's only been 4 or 5 games into the season, but we already have had at least 3 shocking performances. So at least have the bit of quality and impetus in the game where you can actually be competitive. And we were competitive for a fairly large part of that game, but also we were relying on luck, and our luck ran out, and the result showed in the end, losing 4-1, conceding 3 late goals.
You guys could have got the lead, though, that the guy save.
Yeah.
World class, maestro. He basically dug it out of the net.
Yeah, he injured his shoulder the first half. So for him to get down that low, dig it out the way you said, so I mean, that was a fantastic. So we were still 1-1 at the time, so that could have given Newcastle this.
I was actually watching it with Wasim's dad, and he was like amazed at the save. And we're analyzing, like, he injured his right shoulder, and I actually thought, did he save it with his right? Okay, turned out he saved it with his left arm. But still, man, amazing, world class. And he pulls off these saves, and we need to acknowledge him, because a lot of the times, fans from like United fans and even rival clubs, they like absolutely like Like,
No, I give him stick. I think I give him
Yeah,
stick, and I'll lift
do.
up my hand.
Oh,
I
yeah.
give him stick when he makes his mistakes, and he does make mistakes. He does make mistakes every now and then. But that was a world-class save, and tonight it proved to be worth 3 points because at
Here we
that
go.
moment it would have been 2-1. Early into the second half, I think our confidence would have been up again, and it might have been a different ball game. So well done to De Gea. That was a top save.
Sahil, I have to ask you. Actually, I'm going to ask both of you your opinion, but Sahil, I'm gonna go with you first. Did you see the penalty incident? Because that was a shocking decision. Never is that a penalty, not in a million.
Yeah, Rashford moving away from the goal. Look, I don't know. The referee the referee had to look at it, and the referee was like, you could see, he looked at it once or twice, and he kind of like shook his head. He's like, yeah, it's a penalty. Like,
I feel there was contact.
just-
It was a bit of a poorly timed tackle from Lewis.
I wouldn't
could understand
give
why
it.
it was given. Probably a bit soft, but I can understand why it was given. So, and that's
I
from a
thi-
Newcastle fan. So
I think the universe works in amazing ways. So
Justice.
Dubravka ended up saving it. So,
Dada.
yeah,
Dalo.
sorry. Dalo.
That was a tough save for Dalo because
Yeah.
Fernandes, he hit that ball
Got a
like ferocious.
yeah, he's got a great record also.
Yeah.
But the
I mean,
technique that Bruno used there was different to his regular technique, like his hop and skip before he kicks. So
I think it's also because he's gotten so many penalties
Shorter
that he
runner.
can't rely on his old technique because he
Exactly,
feels he
yeah.
needs to mix it up because he's been getting so many penalties. So perhaps that also played a role.
his record of hopping and skipping and taking it is 100%. So as far as I'm concerned, he can jump like a kangaroo all day as long as he puts that ball in the back of the net. So yeah, it was surprising to see him miss that. And yeah, look guys, 3 points at the end of the day. Wasim,
Well
I
done,
feel
guys.
sorry
Well
for you. Not really, but yeah, we needed that victory. Like we really needed that victory. Let's just talk about the Merseyside derby. Now, this was a game that had a lot of talking points. Wasim, I know what you're going to mention first. Kick us off with that first talking point of the game.
Yeah, I think that the major talking point was the Pickford incident with Van Dijk. Definite red card for me. It was late. It was reckless. It ended up injuring the player. It injured the player. He ended up going off the field. And I feel that such an injury was as a result of a poor challenge, and it should have been a straight red. I don't understand why they didn't have a look at it. Yes, I know the rules are if it's offside that it only then needs to be really serious foul play for a red card and all of those things. But I'm not going to go into that part. I just feel that it was a reckless challenge. The player ended up going off injured, so they should have looked into that, and that would have potentially given the penalty. And if not the penalty, at least the red card. So.
But besides just for this game, I think Liverpool are going to feed it further. I mean, from what I understand, he might be out for like 2.5 months. So
More than that.
Yeah, it's
you
if
think
it's
so?
a knee, it could be very very.
Yeah,
So
I think the rules need to be reviewed, and I think like the FA, like besides, I mean, people you'll learn from it, man. I think this kind of incidents with VAR, it's like all still relatively new. So I think the rules will be reviewed, and I don't know if you guys caught like a lot of the. I think it was Gallagher that was talking, and he even said like there's obvious like gaps in the system, and they need to obviously review it. So it can't be 100% perfect right now, but it's a shame. I feel a bit for Van Dijk and Liverpool in a sense.
Yeah, the thing is with Dermot Gallagher, right? He's always going to like be kind of careful with the words he uses when he explains something, because he doesn't want to be seen to be against the referees or against the decision.
Definitely not. It's very diplomatic. Like his answers are always diplomatic.
It has to be for a person in his position. According to like Beansport, and they mentioned that Van Dijk might have a ACL injury, and that might put him out for like 7 months. So there's no confirmation
7 what?
of it. 7 months.
Yeah, if it's a cruciate ligament, it could be a serious 6-month injury. Yeah.
It's not confirmed, but if it is, losing him and the bigger loss is Alisson. Not having the two of them there is major for Liverpool. So, and then what did you guys think about the whole Mane the Mane offside because was it like Karma coming back to catch Liverpool?
Yeah, I see the incident the interesting part that I find is that they were using the elbow as the point of checking, where the player is onside, and it should be perhaps closer to the shoulder. So I feel that like it's so technical. They've made it so technical, and on another day, like if they said the minor incident and the Liverpool offsides, on another day, those could easily have been seen as being onside, resulting in a penalty, resulting in that winning goal. So really unlucky for Liverpool. But I suppose, yeah, as you say, karma finds its way of getting back
You must,
at other teams.
but you must remember the view that we see, right? The camera angle that we see is not the actual mathematical or trigonometrical calculation that they use. When it's like analyzed and the decision is given, it's given at the proper angle. So when we see it on the screen, but Mane is actually on and whatever, and people will say that's not the actual angle that the calculation is being done on. What we see on the screen is just it's like a translation of the actual calculation. It's not the actual. So it's always difficult.
Us as fans.
Yeah, it is a bit tough.
But it causes more interesting talking points.
No, definitely. Talking about talking points, I mean, Adrian's fluff. I mean, I don't know what kind of snowflake attempt that was to save the first goal. Yeah.
I think he wasn't set. Look, in all honesty, I don't think he was set. So
Riaz has an agenda against Adrian. Just be happy he's in the squad, Riaz. I'm happy he's in the squad, and I hope he's there for a long time.
Definitely starting for Liverpool.
But it was a cracking game, a really good game to watch. And as a neutral, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think both teams, Everton didn't have the position as much as they wanted, and credit to them for scoring 2 goals despite being really, chasing the ball for large periods of those games. So I think cracking game, and well done to both teams. I think it was probably a fair result.
I just want to say Dominic Calvert-Lewin is fantastic in the air. I mean, the air time he gets and the leap he gets is phenomenal. His goal against Spurs, I love that header. And this goal, I'm not sure who the defender was. I never saw the replay, but he completely rose above the defender to put the ball in the back of the net. I think Liverpool will be a bit disappointed because I thought they played a better football. But such as football, you don't take chances, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Definitely. It's always good to have like a nice target man like that up front. And I think like Ancelotti putting the faith in him. Yeah, with Cavani. With Cavani soon. I'm a big Cavani fan. Let's hope that works out. But yeah, like I say, it's always good having that tall target guy up front, and like Ancelotti putting faith in him has worked out there.
Speaking of taking your chances, Chelsea, they should have taken their chances in the first half. They dominated. They were 2-0 up and creating chances at will, and they end up drawing the game. So really, Chelsea, they seem to shoot themselves in the foot because they can't defend. They're always giving opportunities to the opponents, and
I'm fine. I had Werner in my team. Riaz, did you have any Chelsea players in your fantasy team?
I don't have. I have a strategy for the Chelsea players, which I don't discuss with the two of you. So no, I didn't have Werner in my team, but his second goal was sublime. His first goal actually ran into traffic, but I think he backed himself, because if he had to not slot that, you would have heard it from every Tom, Dick and Harry. And then his second goal was that ball from Jorginho, and then his lob over McCarthy and then finished top class. I tell you what, Chelsea was struggling defensively. Had Mendy in against Palace. Yes, sure, they were fantastic. Talking about snowflake Spanish goalkeepers.
What is he doing? But you know what? Even was it Zuma that caused the whole confusion at the back? But really, man,
I think
I feel for Kepa.
Kepa is
and these are players.
I think Christensen in centre back is also really makes so many mistakes, and it's really like Chelsea are shooting themselves in the foot with the defense that they're playing, when they've got so many good attackers, they just need
They
to sort
spent
out that defense.
they spent so much money, but all the money was spent on midfield and attack, really. So, I mean, it's their own doing if you think about it. They were probably thinking they quite showed up in defense, but meanwhile, back at the ranch,
Got another thing coming. You know what I mean? Look at actually watching the highlights while I'm talking to you guys, and there's a Adrian Snowflake attempt at saving.
But
that goal.
talking about good goals, they don't. I don't know if we didn't cover the Bruno Fernandes goal. The pass from Rashford, like he had eyes at the back of his head. Sorry to jump back to the United game, but that goal, man, really,
Quality.
amazing.
World class.
But what about Van der Beek? Van der Beek's assistance in that build-up play. That's a contender for goal of the season.
He actually came on, and that's when the goals came.
He made a difference.
Yeah.
Why he is not starting, who knows?
You're on me. Like, that's my player. All my players I wanted at United are there. They're sitting on the bench.
Radoni.
Yeah.
I think we still got some good games to come in the weekend, and that on top of Man City and Arsenal, which was also quite a good game. But Man City, for once, actually defended well and kept a clean sheet. Can you believe it? So,
I just want to say, like, I know I criticize Edison a lot, but he was superb because I watched the game and he made 2 or 3 quality saves, and his distribution was like, itu melengkune. Well,
No. Shot stopper.
He was top class. What do you guys think the future or the verdict is on Arteta at the moment? Because I was watching something now during the week, and they said, like, for all Arsenal's position and the football they're playing, they're not really creating that many chances and not getting so many shots on goal. So, like, I don't know. For me, it's like 50-50 about Arteta.
Yeah.
Not too much of a convinced yet. How do you guys feel about it?
I feel he's got them going in the right direction, but he's also now been backed with the Partey signing and a few others last season also. So he's been back to a degree, and so if you are being backed as a manager, you then need to start giving a certain amount of results, to prove that. So he now needs to. I think the ball is in his court now. He needs to show some results and get the team up the table because, like you say, he's done well, but he's still divided in terms of the fans' opinion. So I think it's in his court. He needs to make that show. He needs to repay the faith shown in him, and I think he's got a lot about him that shows that he can be an Arsenal manager and do well in the long term. But as we know, it's a results-driven game, and he needs to start showing that.
It's tough for young managers out there, Riaz. I don't know what you think, but like, geez, it's a cutthroat industry. Results are what matter. And like, you can have the best of ideas and the best of, methodologies, but if it's not churning out results, then unfortunately you're going to face the sack at some point. And you kind of feel for people like Arteta, and I even feel for like Ole, at some point, but like, you got to get those results going.
But that's the thing, when you land a top job, you need to be cognizant of the fact that top jobs require top results for a good amount of time. So if you're not getting that, then you need to then move aside. So
football's changed, man. I think like, if you look at like when Ferguson started, for example, and I keep going back to that, like, he didn't start off well. They gave him, they put faith in him. They stood by him, and eventually it came right. But like now in football, it's like, it's more fast paced. It's like people want more results and they want it quicker. So it's unfortunate.
I think you also stand more to lose, like with the prize money nowadays. No one wants to go down or not. In the case of the clubs, we're talking about not make the Champions League because it has like a detrimental effect and whatnot. So
look at absolutely.
Ole, Arteta, they all know what they got themselves into when they signed the contracts to take on these jobs. So it's hectic, but it's football. Sahil, I just want to end off. I know that you are a PSG fan. playing PSG this week in the last Champions League. Wasim, your team playing in the Champions League?
Wasim is going to put on FIFA and he's going to play the Champions League on FIFA. There's nothing quite like those big nights. Riaz. The music play. I can already hear it in the back of my head. The Champions League
Big
anthem.
night for the team. What if Cavani plays against PSG? Can you imagine that?
I don't know. If he does play, he'll come on as a sub. But I think PSG also won yesterday, and I think they're just a steam train. Let's hope we can, get him off the rails. I don't know. Solskjaer has rested a couple of players. I think he did rest a couple of players. That's just my view. Others will say no, he went with the team that he wanted out there today. So let's see. Might have another shock result like we had the last time against PSG. I think 2 years ago, where Lukaku grabbed that winner. So let's see. Maybe Cavani gets one. Bite the hand that fed him.
Wasim, any predictions for United against PSG this week?
I think PSG will show you that they are a top side, and they will show you how far you are still from that level. So great result tonight, but I think you will fall short again in the week. And I see PSG winning that quite easily. Perhaps not by a wide margin, but they should see that game comfortably.
Give me a prediction, Wasim. Easily, you say.
Yeah, I'll go 3-1. 3-1. I think
Okay.
should be a good evening for them.
Riaz, what's your prediction? Be positive for once.
The thing is, it's PSG. They're a different class. And no disrespect in Newcastle, but I mean, PSG, they were Champions League finalists last season. You know what you're coming up against. Neymar, Mbappe, world-class talent. They got Marquinhos at the back. Your friend, Reznal Kimpembe. So, there's going to be a difficult prospect. If we get a draw, I'll be happy with the result. I'm not expecting us to win, though. But I'm expecting a decent to good performance. I think the performance will tell us a lot about how far we've come. And Tuchel, he's done well at PSG, so it's a good opportunity for Solskjaer to sort of test himself. But we'll see what will happen. I'm going to say PSG is going to win as well. Hoping for a good performance, but with our defense, we can make mistakes sometimes, and I don't trust that. So
I can tell you now.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to say PSG will win 2-1. That's me being nice.
That is very, very nice. It's like us getting a goal.
Gents, it's been good.
Shot, my man.
It's been even better seeing you Wasim after we trounced you 4-1.
Yeah, Wasim, kudos to you for showing face, still coming up on the show and gracing us with your presence, even though you guys lost 4-1.
Thanks, guys.
Anyway,
let me go sleep and forget about this horrible day.
Cheers.
Guys, thank you for your time. See you, gents.